Hi, my name is Olivia Rosener. This past spring, along with my classmates McDowell and Brandon Pham, we took part in experiential learning and community-based service learning class where we had the opportunity to work with the Harley Langdale Jr Foundation, a local nonprofit organization. Our work was an experiment to see how select students would learn and work in a real, outside-of-school fashion with the client. These select students were Ty, Brandon, and I. According to the BU Center of Teaching and Learning, experiential learning is an engaged process whereby students learn by doing and by reflecting on the experience. Some examples of experiential learning are internships, study abroad, and in our case, community-based research. Experiential learning starts with the knowledge of concepts, facts, or information about the topic/situation. For us, that included gathering information about how to create marketing materials for a nonprofit organization. Then it moves towards the activity, which in our case was the filming, editing, and creating of media components for the organization, including branding materials for different social media platforms and a website. Lastly, we reflect on the process and what we learned throughout the experience, which we did through our final presentation project for the class. My classmate Ty McDowell has more information about the community-based service learning aspect of our experience.
Thanks for that introduction, Olive. My name's Ty McDowell, and I want to talk to you about one of the key learning concepts that we focused on in this course, community-based learning. Now, before we started filming this project, and even before the pre-production, we had to do a lot of research on similar foundations to the Harley Langdale Jr. Foundation. One foundation in particular that I found was the Arthurian Blank Foundation. And I noticed that most of their media coverage was from news companies, and they were primarily like big check marketing. So a representative from the company shows up to some community outreach program, they donate some money, but the only visual representation of their service is someone standing on stage holding a big check. Well, we knew that we wanted to attack this a little bit differently. The Harley Langdale Jr. Foundation focuses a lot more on education and these human-to-human interactions. So we knew if our project was going to be different from what the previous foundation's media coverage was, we had to focus a lot more on these human-to-human interactions and capture that with our cameras. And just overall tell a better story so that people watching the video get a better understanding of what the Harley Langdale Jr. Foundation does, rather than just seeing someone on a stage holding a big check. Now, this research gave us a great foundation to work off of in terms of pre-production. We were able to make a storyboard and a loose script so that we knew going into it what we were going to shoot and what we needed to capture. I think when you watch the video, you'll be able to see that the efforts that we made in the classroom, we were able to translate into the community while we were out there during this event, capturing these interactions and eventually turning them into a video that's consumable by everyone in the community.
Overall, what we learned from this experience was how to work with the client and understand their vision. During this experience, we learned how to use cinema cameras, plan and produce multiple videos, and actually go into the field and execute our plan. The Harley Langdale Jr. Foundation really opened our eyes to what it would be like working in the real world. We created a proposal and presented it to the Harley Langdale Jr. Foundation. Once it was then approved, we started testing out the cameras and making sure everything went smoothly for the day of the event. Our pre-production was heavily influenced by our research of other organizations. All that research led to the video that you're about to see now.
And it was nice to be able to experience other careers that I never will experience since I'm a teacher.
Educators drive our communities. Not only do they teach our children, they inspire them. The Harley Langdale Jr. Foundation has partnered with local educators to help broaden their knowledge of local businesses. Biannually, this organization takes a group of teachers and administrators out into the community to learn more about different industries. From the commercial banking company to South Georgia Medical Center, these teachers learn information that they can bring back into their classrooms. By taking the educators out to these locations, it allows students to gain more knowledge about the community they live in through their educators' experience.
I have already talked to my principal and told him that hopefully the next teacher can come from our school, can go, and how great of an opportunity it is for the teachers to realize what businesses are out there and what they do so that we can go back and reference, like maybe in a science class or a biology class, they could actually talk more about what they saw as far as, in the hospital setting or in the lumber yard. They could, find ways to relate it to their classroom lessons, and then make a partnership and maybe have guest speakers come in or field trips go out and try to make that happen more often.
I would definitely recommend this program to other educators in the community, because a lot of them have children that I don't teach. And you never know if you're going to have a child ask that question that this program may answer for you through an experience.
The purpose of this event was to bring teachers out of the classroom setting and into a industry setting or a healthcare setting or a bank setting, whatever the case may be, so that they can see firsthand on a day-to-day basis what goes on in those industries and in those businesses.